was to remove whatever disease segment was found to be perforated. I identified no perforation. So she has what's called a secondary peritonitis, okay? The problem is I don't know what it's from. If her appendix was ruptured, I'd say it's from a ruptured appendix. If her colon was ruptured, I'd say it's from a ruptured colon. I have seen this in cases of very aggressive gastrointestinal infections like salmonella, okay? So we cultured this fluid, and we're going to see what kind of bacteria it grows. But what I didn't want to do was indiscriminately remove vital organs that were not perforated, okay? So it's my hope that by reducing the burden of infection by washing all this out, and once again, looking for major sources of perforation, which were not present. And I will tell you also that when I put the scope in, I didn't see any evidence of C. diff colitis. The lining of the colon has a very typical appearance when somebody has that. She didn't have that.
That's
okay?
good, but...
So we're going to send some stool for culture. We're going to send the fluid for culture. We're going to treat her with a variety of different antibiotics. We're going to support her. I'm going to watch her in the ICU overnight, okay? If she gets any sicker, she's going to go back to surgery for me to re-inspect everything.
Oh my goodness.
If she continues to improve on antibiotics, then I think this was a necessary step to get her over that point. You saw how sick she was. It's just, for me, it's less than gratifying, because when I come out of surgery, I like to know I repaired something or took something out that was bad. In this case, I did, in that we removed infected fluid, but it's a little less than gratifying not finding a source for it. But I can tell you for a fact it was not her appendix. The appendix was as normal as
And it wasn't her colon?
No. We inspected her colon from her rectum all the way to the very end of it. We ran her small intestine from the very beginning of the small intestine all the way to where it joins the colon. And then we examined her stomach and first part of the small intestine where ulcers commonly perforate, and inflated her stomach with air to make sure there were no bubbles that we would see that would indicate even a microscopic leak. Same thing when I did the scope. I looked at the lining of the colon to make sure it was healthy and there was no C. diff colitis. There was no colitis at all.
That's good.
And I wanted to make sure also that there was no leakage of bubbles, so I inflated the colon with air completely and then immersed it in saline, no bubbles. So I wasn't about to take anything out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that'd be a...
Overkill.
Well, what that would be is it wouldn't help the situation. It would deal out a lot of heartache for her. So I felt it was best to get cultures, collect information, presume that we had controlled the infection by irrigating everything out, and now watch her very closely. If there's a sign, if there's any sign that this is a process in evolution and things worsen, then I might need to return her back to surgery. But if she continues to improve, despite being sore, you know, then we won't do anything but treat her with the full course of antibiotics and base everything on what our cultures grow.
She's had this infection starting for a good while, hasn't she?
Well, the infection was...
Well, she had high white blood cell count since May.
Something's weird here, okay? This is just, I mean, I do this every day, and I see something like this maybe once a year, and usually in kind of a chronically ill, old, sick person, you know, not a healthy person like her, which is why 30, somebody comes in with a 30-something, somebody comes in with a bellyache, the first thing he says is appendicitis. Well, fortunately with laparoscopy, you can confirm or refute that diagnosis definitively by just looking at it. And the instant we did that, we said, we got more going on here than that. Because in the old days, what we might have done is made a small incision in the right lower quadrant, pulled up the appendix, took it out, and not gotten to see all this through that little hole. So I think she's going to be fine. It's just, you know, I'll feel better in 2 or 3 days when we get some results back and I can put a name on it. And she's not gotten worse and needs to go back to the operating room. But I'll be working all week. I'll be here all week. And I'll bounce this back up with my partners just because, you know, we've all seen it all. When you work in this place, you see the worst of the worst, you know.
But this was pretty bad then, though, right?
Well, this is kind of, you know, peritonitis will kill you
Peritonitis?
if you stay at home. Peritonitis, you know, is usually caused by a rupture of an organ, like appendix or rupture. It just means inflammation of the lining of the cavity, of the abdominal cavity. But it can rapidly progress to sepsis. So in this case, you know, by just getting all that out, we controlled the sepsis. Now we're going to treat it with really strong IV antibiotics. But what I need to know is where did it all come from? It wasn't from a hole. So what you can get sometimes when the valve gets sick enough from an infection, you get what's called translocation. That's where the bacteria actually go, just penetrate through the wall of the valve without the valve perforating. You know what I mean? They just work their way
Without a place
out
to
of
get
it.
out, it
Yeah,
just goes
yeah,
through.
without a hole. They just kind of get out into the free cavity. We see that sometimes. It's not the commonest thing you see. Usually it's going to be something more straightforward, but
It's possible that that's what-
yeah. I don't think we'll know till we see some culture results.
So she's in recovery right now.
She's moving to recovery now. They're going to have to keep her there because all the ICUs are full. But once an ICU bed becomes available, they'll move her there. Otherwise, the recovery room nurses are ICU nurses, so they may just keep her there. We'll just have to see how things play out.